for you. Now, the action RPG Path of Exile, it's making its way to the Xbox One for the first time, and it's bringing its biggest expansion yet, the Fall of Ariath. Here to tell us all about it is Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games. Jonathan, how are you, mate? Welcome
nice
to
to
Xbox Daily here at E3.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Right? So we're going to watch some 4K 60 frames per second gameplay on an Xbox One X, but while we do, I've got some questions for you, right? So, how do you optimize the game for Xbox?
So I mean, the big challenge with something like taking a PC game and coming to a platform like Xbox is honestly the controls. You know, like, we knew that we had to really nail that stuff. And it took a really long time. We've been working on the Xbox version for more than a year now, and a huge amount of that is just working on, you know, UI controls, that kind of thing. Honestly, bringing a PC game to Xbox, Microsoft makes it really easy because, you know, in terms of tools. So it really just comes down to making the gameplay good.
All right.
And especially on, you know, on Xbox One X, you know, 2 hours after we got the dev kit, it was running at 4K 60 FPS. That thing's very powerful.
Seriously?
Yeah, yeah.
It was that.
Yes.
I mean, it was that quick. For you.
It was that easy, you know.
Was that a surprise to you when you got hold of that dev
I think
kit?
we were expecting it to take a little longer than that, but no, it was, you know, that was a cinch. So I'm really glad about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what is the, you know, the added power of the Xbox One X? What's that opened up for you?
I mean, basically, so on regular Xbox we can run at 1080. On the X we can run at 4K. And honestly, even if you have a 1080p TV, it just makes it look really nice because it still renders at 4K, downsamples, and you know, it's just super crisp, super nice. You know, the team members in our studio, the QA guys, who are kind of looking at it like, wow, okay, that looks good. That's
awesome. Now we're actually seeing some gameplay right here. So talk us through what we're seeing on the screen.
So
here.
basically, this demo here is talking about the customization of Path of Exile. So what it's showing here is that in our game, when you take a skill, you can combine them together to create different versions of it. So for example, here, what I've done is I've taken this basic skill called Molten Ball, and we've like added a bunch of different combinations to make it so rather than just firing one ball, it fires like a ton of them. Oh yeah, this is our skill tree here.
Whoa, that is the biggest skill tree I think I've ever seen.
So character customization is a huge focus in the game, right? So we're free to play. That basically means that we want to keep people engaged for as long as possible, and that means having ridiculous character customization. So you know, that's kind of what we're showing here.
So that, I mean, that looked complex, right?
Yeah, yeah. But so I mean, the idea here is to hopefully make it so that you know, it's very deep, but you know, it's very easy to understand, but there's a lot of depth to it, right?
Right.
So you know, online on our PC players, right, they're breaking out spreadsheets and they're, you know, like just working out the exact things we're doing. But you know, like there's a big community of people online who, you know, come up with really interesting builds, and you know, if we're succeeding, then you're making, you know, a ton of characters in Path of Exile. You know, you don't just make one character, you make like 20 and have all different, you know, different gearing options and things like this.
All right, tell us about your inventory and the kind of items and things you can find in the world.
Yeah, so basically, our game has a lot of different unique items. For example, the one that I've just put my gems into here, when you cast skills, they go in a nova instead of going in a straight line. So basically, yeah, you get this huge spam of boulders there. And basically, the idea here is we want to make it so, you know, every item that every unique item that you find is going to have some really interesting effect on your character. And this one is just, you know, all about the screen clearing spam. So you know, yeah, there's a lot of boulders there.
Screen clearing spam, one of my favorite things, to be honest. So
absolutely.
We've got 24 new boss battles in the game. Tell us about some of your favorites.
So basically, in the Fall of Ariath, you're going to be fighting a lot of gods. The gods are rising back up and you're going to fight them. We've got huge bosses, ones that, you know, we've never had bosses on this sort of scale before. You know, the scale and complexity is extremely high. In a second, you're going to see two of the new bosses called Lunaris and Solaris that you fight together.
Right. We're seeing a very different character class here as well, right?
Right. So this character here is a Marauder. He's using, you know, he's a melee guy.
Nice.
And basically, these two gods that he's about to fight are the gods of the moon and the sun. So they're kind of what happens is you go across this bridge as you're going from the moon side to the sun side. So the sun actually rises as you're coming along there.
Nice.
And as you're fighting them, you'll see the sort of the sunrise and then the moonrise alternately as the two gods sort of take control. Hopefully we'll come to that in just a second.
Where have you taken your inspirations from for the gods and for the boss characters?
So I think that there's quite a lot of Greek style mythology, but what we've also tried to do is, you know, I mean, it's inspired, it isn't directly taken. But the other thing we've tried to do is think about, you know, what other cultures in the game have gods and that kind of thing. So for example, there's what would a god of the goatmen be like, and what would a god of like these parasites be like, and that kind of thing. So you know, that's sort of quite interesting. So we've got both human gods and you know, and gods of the various different creatures in the game.
Nice.
So here we have Lunaris and Solaris. They sort of start by fighting each other,
nice.
But soon after the battle begins, they decide to settle their differences and just you know, kill you.
Fair enough.
You know,
they've found common ground.
Exactly, they found common ground. So
So does this tie into the Pantheon system
Yes,
as well,
exactly.
the gods
Exactly.
and the...
Yes. So as you kill the gods in the Fall of Ariath, you'll unlock various powers in the Pantheon of Path of Exile. So there's a screen you can open up which you know, it looks like one of those sort of Renaissance style you know, things with all the different gods on it. Cool. And when you select the powers in the Pantheon, you're going to get different bonuses depending on the theme of that god. So yeah, and you can also upgrade them later on as you go throughout the end game.
All right, good. Tell us about the 6 new acts in Fall of Ariath.
Yeah, so basically, you know, currently the game is 4 acts and we're adding six new acts to it. So we're more than doubling the length of the game. So because the game is free to play, I think like if we're a retail game, this would be a sequel. But because we're free to play and the way free to play games work is you just add content to them forever, you know, we're releasing this kind of, you know, as an add-on to the existing one. So yeah, you know, it's just a huge amount of content. I think it'll probably take a new player to get through the entire storyline of the campaign, probably something like 40 hours now that we've got all these different acts on there. And of course there's a huge amount of in-game to play as well, you know, so we've got players who play for thousands and thousands of hours on, you know, so I know that you know, you can do some real grinding in this game if you want to.
Right. Well, I mean, you must have a very close relationship with your community as well.
Right,
what
exactly.
kind of feedback are you taking from them and
Yeah,
conversations with them?
so like I think that our company is extremely community driven. Like everything we do is really for them. I mean, when you're, once again, if you're a free to play game, the motivations are different, right? You really have to build those community connections. You know, you have to, you know, like if you're not listening to your fans, they're going to leave your game. So that's, you know, that's really important to us. So, you know, throughout this, we're going to be having a beta very soon because we really want to get feedback from the Xbox community as well.
Right.
So the Xbox beta will be starting, like, not fingers crossed, 3 or 4 weeks. We don't have an exact date. But then we'll be releasing probably a couple of months after that.
Okay,
so,
what does that beta process mean for you? I mean, are you, during that process, are you actively soliciting feedback, making iterative changes to the game?
I mean, we you know, the beta isn't just for marketing, right? You know, a lot of games these days, they're doing marketing-focused betas. We definitely like to, you know, listen to the community, you know, get feedback on the forums and so on. We also gather a lot of data, right? So in the back end when you're playing, we, you know, gather data about like what things aren't working, what people are dying too often, that kind of thing. And that lets us optimize the game and really, you know, really make things work. And especially for Xbox, we're going to have to be caring a lot about making sure that, you know, we'll be looking at what skills are popular, what skills people aren't liking, because the controls maybe aren't as tweaked to you know, as finely as we want them to be. Right. So there's going to be a lot of that going on during the beta as well. Good
stuff. So beta coming very soon.
Very soon.
When did you say you think you might get the full
probably
game
2 or 3 weeks, hopefully. But you know.
And then the full version of the
and
game?
the full version a couple of months later.
Fantastic. Yeah. Jonathan, thank you very much for bringing Path of Exile in. I really appreciate it.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank